major connectivity between Japan and India. To take this next step forward, on the other hand, we have China, which is a population with 1.5 billion people, who perhaps to some extent emulated what Japan has done. Is coming, challenging the economic order of the world. The South Korean has done very well by emulating Japan, whereas the North Koreans, who didn't follow that, still stagnate behind. So ladies and gentlemen, let's look at where are we Sri Lankans today in this whole context. What is wrong with our engineering education that makes us not as good as Japanese or Korean or even Chinese engineers? Has Professor Paul gone wrong? I doubt very much. Simply said, I personally believe that they have not been able to evolve and change along with the time. I believe that we need to engage in a greater debate and discussion on this issue and find where things have gone wrong, what needs to be corrected, and when and where we need to correct. I believe that enough time has been spent on arguing on petty things. It is with deep concern and regret that I state that even all of us, senior engineers, including me, waste most of our time in dealing and addressing absolutely minute matters instead of paying our attention to more important and bigger issues such as this. Now I wish to move myself into the dilemma of a practicing engineer. I have just completed 28 years in the industry, starting as a trainee engineer and working and walking up to this position. I'm indeed very proud to say that I worked as well as walked up to this position. When I see Mr. Riaro Fernando in the audience, my first interaction with him, I doubt very much that he will be able to even remember. Long years back, when the shipping business was in recession, Colombo Dockyard decided to go into heavy engineering, or the local engineering construction work. And we underquoted all the local mechanical contractors and started manufacturing 3,000 and 5,000 gallon underground storage tanks. And some engineering projects. And there was one other project we did, is the Calentis rehabilitation project. I think that's where I first interacted with engineer Riaro Fernando. As a professional, I am indeed proud of what I have been able to achieve, but I am humble enough to accept with disappointment that I have not done enough to uplift the profession that I have accidentally fallen into. I say accidentally because I never was thinking of becoming an engineer when I was undergoing my school education. It just was a coincidence that I ended up as an engineer. This is the very reason when Mr. Ranjit Rupasinghe asked me to make this lecture, I most happily agreed, though it was almost impossible according to my schedule. He was kind enough to reschedule the lecture today. So I would like to express some things that have been bothering me over the last 28 years. What is wrong with our practicing engineers? Firstly, my comments and explanations are situations and issues that I have come across in my day-to-day work, and perhaps I am making myself a fool by publicly speaking about them. Nevertheless, I thought I should still do this. Perhaps it is good to become a fool than become a wise man, if by being so, it brings greater benefit to the society. My revelations are in no way to criticize or disrespect any individuals who may think I am talking about them. I am illustrating a situation purely to make a point, and certainly not to bring disrespect or ridicule the individuals involved. If you are able to at least try and understand what is wrong in that situation, perhaps we can identify the root causes that led to such a situation. Once I was in a board meeting in one of our subsidiary companies. A major engineering project that was to be completed had not progressed well. Being an engineer, it is my usual way to dig a little deeper into such issues. So I asked, what went wrong? The senior engineer immediately quit. The consultants are very strict. The weir concrete was not accepted by the consultant, and now we have demolished it and completely redo it. Naturally, if it is not accepted, there is no way you can move forward. Obviously, I don't stop there and ask him why the consultant rejected the concrete. Again, quick answer. Well, the contractor has used sand containing mud, and he is not happy with it. Engineer Marvin Gunasekara looks at me very attentively. When asked why it was not noted by our site engineer, and why did we present it to the consultant at the first place, who in my view most likely decided correctly to reject it, the answer comes. The site engineer was busy, and the problem is that we don't have a good QC guy at the site. Now there goes our engineering practice. So we leave it to the QC person, perhaps less educated, less paid, less responsible person to make the decision whether the concrete is to be accepted or not. I am not a civil engineer, correct me if I am wrong, Murray, but is this what engineering practice is? Another example. As you know, we are an international shipbuilding company, which we are very proud and brag so much outside that we are the only Sri Lankan engineering company who is able to do this and so forth. In the process of shipbuilding, we bring and integrate a lot of equipment. I know there are some colleagues from Colombo Dockyard, hope they won't get unduly alarmed or worried. I do not mean any malice. So we integrate a lot of equipment from various OEMs. Now in this particular project, there was a rudder assembly that we ordered from an OEM in Germany, and the steering system, hydraulic steering system that connects the rudder from the Netherlands. Usually we both try to bring the steering system and the rudder from the same OEM, but in this case the owner was insistent that we make a change. The whole ship was completed, we went on trials, In fact, the ship even sailed to Trincomalee, did the Bullarpur test, came back, and finally we were to do the final dynamic positioning trials as this vessel was ready for the oil and gas industry to do some very rigorous job. Just before that, there comes a report. The rudder is slightly sluggish. It's a requirement. The rudder is on the harder port or the far extreme position. It should return to the neutral position, I think within less than 20 seconds or 23 seconds. So from the starboard also return that fast, so that the maneuverability of the vessel is good enough to operate in such a difficult condition. But this rudder was taking little longer time. So there was no choice. We had to dry dock the vessel again because the rudder is underwater. And we go down the two OEMs, engineers from that, two companies as well, and said, look, there is a problem with the rudder. These are the records. These are your engineers who are present. And something is wrong with the rudder assembly. But after a couple of days, everybody decides there is no problem with the rudder. Because we checked everything, it's fine. Okay, we attend to the rest of the work, take the vessel out, goes on trial again. Problem repeats. And now there is series of debates, discussions, arguments. Finally one evening, even I got fed up of waiting and called the engineers to my room and asked, what is wrong with this stupid system? Why can't you fix it? They say, everything was checked, it's perfect. But there's some problem. So I said, so what is the way forward? No, we've asked the steering manufacturer to allow us to increase the operating pressure to 180 bars from 130. So that if there is, whatever it is, something at higher pressure, it will not be the problem. Even the rudder manufacturer recommends it. But the steering guy, maybe because of internal politics, doesn't agree to it. I suddenly remembered my previous discussion with the concrete in the way. I said, why does the steering guy doesn't agree to the increasing of the hydraulic pressure? But he says his system is not designed to operate at 180 bars. So I said, if it is not designed to operate at 180 bars, it will not work at 180 bars, and you are only endangering the vessel and the life of the people on board by trying to make it to 180 degrees and 180 bars. So I said, didn't you all check the clearances of the rudder? I mean, this is not a complex mechanism. It's a bronze bush and a metal shafting, machined to accurate tolerances, lubricated with grease, but fairly large in size, but still it's a very simple mechanical system. No, we checked the clearances, and what was this thing? All the readings were sent to the OEMs, and they are happy. Good. Are you happy with it? Have you checked the drawings? At what time did you take the clearances? Are there industry norms for these kind of clearances? And if all of you are going to, like Parent, tell me that the OEM engineer is happy about it, are we going to, like fools, admit it?